Okay, the next video. Let's just quickly watch some very short videos. Okay, now we're talking, we're starting to see something that looks a bit more like healing. As you can see in that video, both of them, their heads are like starting to point upwards, which is what people like to see. Now I haven't trained that as a specific head position, as a specific separate thing like I did with Becca, where you get the head up, you lure it up, click, treat, 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 lure. Sorry about that, I fell asleep because it was so fucking boring. Right, so what I've done there is I've not trained that head position to either of them. And I purposefully done that. Like I said before, I did train Becca with a head up, click, treat, blah blah blah. But between training Becca, I got Sally, and with Sally, I hit upon a problem with that. Now the problem I hit upon with that is Sally's got a very bull neck. Right up by her head, it's the same size as her head. Right by her shoulders, it's the same size as her shoulders, okay? And it's relatively short compared to its thickness. So by training Sally to have her head up and looking towards me position, I had a problem with her crabbing, because when you're luring a dog you'll see it, but it's particularly like the pit bulls, English bull terriers, Staffordshire bull terriers, anything with a short bull neck, they do have trouble. It's uncomfortable for them, and eventually their whole body will twist so to keep their spine and neck in a straight line. That made me realise that this wasn't comfortable for Sally, and training her to have a head up position was basically not fair. So what I did with Sally was I just let her head go wherever her head wanted to go. Now, some of the comments I got about that, which are fair enough, you know, again I'm not bitching about people's comments, was that she wasn't in an attentive heel, which is what people like to see. But come on, man, attention isn't about whether your dog's looking at you. If your dog's off down the field, it's not looking at you, and you call it and it comes back, it's paying attention to you, it's listening to what you're fucking doing, right, and what you want. So I just left Sally's head go where it wants to go, and now it's basically pointing forward. So how do I know that she's paying attention to me? Because I'll just take a left turn, or I'll just take a right turn, or I'll take an about turn either side, and she will do it. So she's clearly paying attention to me. Now what people like to see is that Becca head up. Not everyone, but lots of people like to see is that head up shit, okay? And what people will do is they'll put a ball under their armpit, and the head will be up, and they'll be like heeling long, dog's focusing on the ball, right? It's making up a pretend attentive heel. The dog may well be paying attention. A lot of people do that who are way better trainers than me. Their dog might be paying attention, it might not be. But what I like to do is to make heeling so much fun that the dog starts to just start looking at you, because it's waiting for the reward to come, or it's waiting for the next bit of fun, or it's waiting for you to take a left turn, or it's waiting for you to take a right turn, or it wants to do an about turn, because I always reward after a turn like straight after, so it's anticipating, and it's like, yeah, where's the next turn? So anyway, you also saw that in Hector's video that there was a turn, and I'm going to deal with turns in the next video. I'm just going to deal with head position because it's a big deal in fucking healing, right? Particularly amongst, you know, like competitive healing, or if you want anyone to take you seriously with your healing, you've got to have some kind of reasonable shit going on with the head, right? So, like I said, a lot of people will train it as a separate thing, a conditioned response. The dog can do nothing other than hold its fucking head up. Now, I just leave it so it's down to the dog's choice where it's going to put its head position, because that's more comfortable for it, and it also gives me a feedback on whether the dog's enjoying what we're doing. So both those two dogs, I may have done a bit of head positioning with Hector because he's been more difficult to train, because I didn't do it from from a little puppy, so it's just all been a bit harder than with Rosie. But Rosie definitely never trained her head position, okay? So that's where they got to by session, I think it's 10, yeah, that's session number 10. So as you can see, Rosie's in a good proper healing position, Hector's in a pretty good proper healing position. There's no turns with Rosie, but I threw in a couple of turns with Hector, which he dealt with like fairly reasonably. And like I said, I'll do turns in the next video. Now, when we look at this attentive head position shit, right, and you look at Indy, Indy is also another dog who, more than Becca maybe, has a more straight upright head position. I don't actually like that position at all. Like I said in my Chaos Explained videos, I like the head, well, personally I like the dog to be just looking straight ahead, really, if I can pull that off. And there's a reason for it. I've had this conversation with people, both on the internet and real life, about this attention heel thing. And what I put forward was, if the dog's paying that much attention to you, he's not paying enough attention to the surroundings, okay? Now in a sports situation, obviously that's groovy, it doesn't matter. No one's really going to attack you, except for maybe in PSA, I don't know. And I believe that these dogs that are trained like Becca to have a conditioned head position, they're not really paying that much attention to the surroundings. I mean, if you think about it, that kind of conditioned head position is going to be really useful for the sort of spun up, high energy, sharp, nervous Malinois. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be useful for that kind of dog? Do you think maybe that's where part of it came from? I don't know. I'm just taking a piss. But either way, I'm going to show you actual factual evidence that if you go too far with this attention healing shit, your dog is not paying attention to its surroundings. And I'm going to show you a video now as evidence, and I'll see you in the next video where I'll start dealing with turns. See? Absolutely oblivious to his surroundings.